Hello APCSP, this is a video about how to make the required screenshots for the create performance task. So what I have here is an example of the document I want to submit where for 2A I've either written my essay or indicated that my response is submitted as a video narration. For 2B I've written my essay, isn't it fantastic? Essay. For 2C I've written my essay, but I need a screenshot of my algorithm here. For 2D I've already written my essay, but I need a screenshot of my abstraction here. And for 2E, I need screenshots of my entire code, including an oval around my algorithm and a rectangle around my abstraction. Now, I've already written a nothing little program right here, where I've got my entire program, including the part that I intend to submit as an abstraction, the other part I intend to submit as an algorithm. And you'll notice that my program is more than one page long, as yours will certainly also be. So I'm going to have to chain together a couple of different screenshots. There are only two complex situations that I can think of that you could encounter. One is if you want to submit the same section of code as both your algorithm and your abstraction, that can be okay. If that's what you want to do, you just surround it both by a rectangle and by an oval. And you'll learn how to do that in just a moment. The only other thing I can think of is maybe your program lives on multiple files. Maybe you have some functions written in a separate file that you'll be importing, or maybe you'll be writing text or reading text from a separate file. And if that's what you're doing, you'd also switch over to that file and take screenshots of that, and then clearly title what's coming from where when you assemble those together in your submission. So I'm ready to take my first screenshot, and the Chromebook key press for that is Control, Shift, and the switch window button, which looks like this and is right above button 6. So I'm going to take everything above my abstraction because I don't want to cut up my abstraction. I need that separately and I need my algorithm separately. So Control, Shift, and the select button gives me this cursor, and I can click and drag and release. And then I can choose Copy to Clipboard. And I just highlighted that and took my first screenshot. I'm going to come over to my document and paste that where it's going to go. Notice I included the line numbers. That's going to help a grader stitch everything together, just in case anything isn't clear to read. Next, we're going to do the screenshot of what happens to be our abstraction, and then that's also going to go into 2D marked with a rectangle. And I'll be showing you how to get it into 2D marked with a rectangle and everything else that we need to do. So again, Control Shift Select, starting here, looks good. We're going to copy it to clipboard, and we're going to paste it below what we've already done, marked with a rectangle, which we're going to do by inserting a table 1 square in size and pasting our code in there. And we now have our code marked with a rectangle. If you don't like the way this looks, I'm about to do the oval for my algorithm next, and you could use the same method that we're about to use there to make a rectangle that looks similar to the oval that we're about to create. So now we come to our algorithm that's going to want an oval. So one more time we're going to do a screenshot, but this time we're not going to copy it. We're going to use our saved file and do something a little special. We've got our algorithm selected. A screenshot has been taken. We can see it in its folder and see its title. And its title is coming soon. Just the time and date, which happens to be 5:53. We're now going to come to our Google Drive, where we're going to use Google Drive's built-in image editing software to draw an oval around this. What you're looking at here is not the file I just took. That's a file I've already had. We need to upload the file we just took by going to New, File, Upload, and selecting the screenshot that was taken at 5:53. And here it is. So now that screenshot that we just took is in our Google Drive right here, and when we click on it to open, we can open it with Pixlr Editor, which is Google Drive's sort of generic free Photoshop tool. So here we have the image that we want to draw an oval around. And again, you could also use this tool to draw a rectangle if you want your rectangle to look identical to your oval. The first thing we need to do is resize the canvas, which is under Image, Canvas Size, and then whatever these two numbers are, go ahead and roughly double them. So I'm going to take 855 and type in 1600. I'm going to take 200 and type in 500. I'm going to change anchor to the center. And we now have extra white space around this image where we can draw the rectangle that we'll need to draw. And that was a little glitch. I'm stuck on click. Sorry about that. So this is the space where we're going to be drawing an oval. I'm sorry if I just said rectangle. By coming here and selecting shapes, the shape we want is the second one with rounded corners. You could use the first one if you wanted to draw a rectangle. Change border size from 1 to 10. Change radius to 100. Unselect fill shape. And you can now draw an oval around that section of code. And then to take that into our submission, we're going to use the same screenshot selection. Control-Shift-Select key. Oops, I got my mouse arrow there. That's okay. Copy to clipboard. I'm going to come back to my document and paste. And we now have our algorithm section of our code surrounded by an oval like we need to have. And then I had one more section of code that I still need to paste. Select. Copy. And from here, I could just hit return and then Control V to paste instead of moving my mouse and clicking around. And I now have my entire program. If you don't like the fact that fonts are in different sizes, you can click on one of these images and resize it if it's important to you that everything look neatly and identically the same size. That will even work with our oval. Now that it's a single image, we can resize it as much as we want. This one was definitely larger than the others. And now we have some very clean looking screenshots of our entire program. The last thing we need to do is also show our abstraction in 2D and our algorithm in 2C, but we don't want the rectangle and oval. So I'm just going to come back to this image, Control-C to copy it, and that's our abstraction. Control-V to paste it. And we have our abstraction repeated in 2D just like we need to. And we also need our algorithm. Let's hit return to get a line break there. We also need our algorithm. Now this is one single image, so I can't just grab the code out of the middle, so I'm going to take one more screenshot. Control-Shift screenshot, select, copy, come up to 2C, maybe resize. And we now have our complete submission with everything that is required from our screenshots. One more time from top to bottom. In 2C, we have our algorithm with no rectangle or oval. In 2D, we have our abstraction with no rectangle or oval. And in 2E, we have our complete program, including our abstraction in a rectangle and our algorithm in an oval. And you can do this identically with Scratch. It'll just be even more important to show how blocks connect if you ever have a string of code that's too long for a single screenshot. But nothing's going to be tricky or different there, so I hope this is helpful. Now go build this for our Hangman project as a sample and for your APCSP final Create project. Thank you.